residents and the businesses in northern Minnesota who've been so heavily impacted by the wildfires will continue to be for some time, even though as big chunks of the Boundary Waters are reopening the entry points to business. Some are still closed, and those that have been closed or had to be closed suffering major problems too. And with that, dozens of businesses are now asking for economic relief, sending a letter to the governor requesting a special session. So to talk more about that, let's bring in Megan Wind with Save the Boundary Waters. Megan, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So this is, we've heard talk about this, and the questions have been posed to the governor throughout the last couple of weeks too, who said that yes, I mean, he's open to the idea of a special session if it's focused purely on this. Tell me, is that still being debated? What is the harm, I guess, that businesses and others along these fire-ravaged areas have been feeling?
Yeah, so in Ely, we're really dependent on tourism, and same with other Boundary Waters communities. So having the Boundary Waters closed kind of at the peak of the season, in July, where that's kind of where people come up the most. Summer revenue is what sustains a lot of businesses through the winter. So this is kind of the peak time for them to make money. So having almost a month or more off is really having major impacts on our local businesses. And some are having to take out new loans. They're having to dip into personal savings. So emergency funding is really needed right now.
Well, let's talk about the types of businesses. Obviously, what comes to mind are the lodges and the outfitters. And I'd spoken to one outfitter on the Gunflint Trail who said, he hadn't seen a customer in 20 days. What other types of businesses in that area are also feeling that impact?
The area is really like an ecosystem of economics. So if an outfitter does poorly, that could also mean that the local radio station isn't getting revenue from advertising, or the local laundromat is losing some of those contracts with local camps and resorts. So we are very interwoven in the success of our economy. And so when one business does bad, the rest of the economy is also likely to be impacted. So it could, any business in town will definitely see some sort of impact from this.
All right. Well, this letter sent to the governor, signed by 82 northeastern Minnesota businesses and nonprofits, asking for a special session. And if not a special session, that it'd be immediately addressed in January when the legislature reconvenes. Let's talk about some of the things that are being asked for here, including grants of up to $150,000.
Yeah, so this was based on some previous funding that we saw in 2022. So we were kind of trying to mimic that a little bit, since that was successful then. But this is just even like $150,000 for some of these businesses won't cover some of the losses. So this is kind of just to get things moving in the right direction.
Okay. And I see here among the other parts of this is that businesses must document at least a 20% reduction in gross revenues, include a letter, an explanation of how that the closure caused that reduction in gross revenues. Are these businesses, I would imagine some of them are seeing well over that percentage?
Yeah, just anecdotally, talking to local businesses, I've heard anywhere from 20%, 25%. I think yesterday I heard up to 60% because they're really dependent on that July-August period. So it's definitely going to be probably well over that.
Okay. What are your, do you have optimism that a special session may actually be called for this?
Yes, I'm definitely optimistic. We're really kind of trying to put as much pressure on our local elected officials as well as elected officials from around the state, because even if you live in southern Minnesota, your state representative or state senator can still call for the special session. And people who are visiting the Boundary Waters come from around the state. So we're hopeful that, people are willing to step up and make their voice heard so that we can make sure that our local economy can thrive in the next coming months.
Is it hard to to really explain to people who don't live in that area or don't visit that area? Is it hard to kind of get the message or the image out of how vast this damage is and what the impact is?
I think so. It's yeah. We're trying to right now put together a survey that can document what some of these losses are. So we're working with a few different organizations to bring that together. But we're hoping we can have some tangible numbers that we can show people, because I think right now people are like, okay, the fires are being contained. People are coming back to the Ely or Grand Marais or Tofty. But just because people are coming back into town, it doesn't make up for the loss that we had last month. So yeah, we're really hoping that people will, call to action, go talk to their elected officials, and then also come to Ely, come stop by. We have a great things to do in the off season as well. So.
Yeah. And then lastly here, have you been any anecdotal, stories that you've heard as the Boundary Waters entry points have now been reopening? I think last I saw it was maybe some 70% of the entry points reopening. Have you been seeing a return of people? There's always a worry that it's going to be kind of a slow trickle to get restarted again.
Yeah, so I live in Ely and visit the downtown Main Street, Sheridan Street every day. And we kind of joke when people come back to town for the summer, it's like, oh, it's canoes on cars season. And canoes are definitely back on cars. We're seeing more and more people go in. A lot of personal friends of mine who are guides and stuff are getting back to work, and things are picking up for sure. So.
Okay, well, that's positive then. So let's hope that continues. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us. Megan with Save the Boundary Waters, and again, talking about asking the governor for a special session for financial relief across northern Minnesota. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
All right.